In this video, you're going to learn why you should be focusing on building up an email list as a priority and how it is actually the biggest asset that you're going to have as a business or a personal brand. So you can see I have an email list here, and essentially this is a list of emails for existing or potential customers. Now, why have I bothered to do this? Why is this valuable? Well, with this list, I can notify them every time I send out a blog post that gets traffic to my website. Anytime that I have a market research survey, if I want to figure out what products to sell, I can email my email list and help and ask them what they want. And that really helps me reduce the risk and create a product that people are actually going to buy. I can re-engage in existing customers and say, hey, you bought the last product, here's another one that would really suit your needs as well. And it's not just me that is saying that building an email list is important. There's actually this great article, 7 experts on why building an email list is so important. And Neil Patel here, well-known marketer, and he says, out of all the channels I've tested as a marketer, email continually outperforms most of them. Not only does it have the highest conversion rate, but as you build up your list, you can continually monetize by pitching multiple products, etc. This is a great example. Just look at e-commerce sites like Amazon. One way they continually get you to buy more products from them is emailing you offers on a regular basis. So perfect example for it. It's perfect for e-commerce. You bought this, why don't you have a look at this? So for a blog, for an e-commerce site, for a services business, it doesn't matter what type of your businesses you have. An email list is going to be your biggest asset because it can drive traffic and sales. Let's go down. I think there was one other good one down here. Noah Kagan, another very well-known marketer. As he says, after you wake up in the morning, what's the first thing you do? I know it's for me, it's checking email. I'd have to agree to that. I check my emails first things in the morning as well. And he is a 7-figure business, and 90% of their revenue comes from emails. So if that rings true for you, you check your emails a lot. I definitely read all of my email subject lines, even if I don't open them. And I look at this a lot more than I do personally social media, because there's just so much content on social media. And that's the maybe final reason you want to build up an email list as essentially an insurance policy. Because on Facebook, there is so much content being submitted that Facebook have to filter content down. And so they're only going to show the most highly engaged content in someone's news feed. So even if you build up an audience on Facebook, you make a post, not everybody is going to see your post because Facebook have to filter it down. There's just too much content. They have to protect the experience of the user. Not so with an email. When you send an email, it's going to hit the inbox of everybody on your list. Whether they open it or not, they're going to see it. And on platforms like Facebook, they might not even be aware that you've created a post. So in terms of visibility as well, just the email list just trumps all of the other platforms because they have to filter down content. There's just too much there. So if your content's not getting a lot of engagement, your followers are not going to see it. And that's why email is so valuable. Now, it's still extremely useful to use Facebook and other platforms, but just in case they just decide to change the rules, they limit the filter the content even more, you might even get kicked off Facebook for a breach of policy terms. You could get kicked off Amazon for breaching their terms of service, etc. It happens, and you don't want that to happen to you where you've no backup plan. And that's why even if you don't plan on sending a lot of emails, it's just a great insurance policy to have an email list built up that you fully control and that you can use to send emails and reach your customers directly. So hopefully that's convinced you why building up an email list is so important. It's going to be the biggest asset you have. You can use it to sell products, drive traffic to blog posts, drive traffic to YouTube videos, get responses to market research surveys. It's a fantastic asset to have. Whether you are a personal brand or a company, you need to focus on this as a priority to build this up. It's key to really growing your business. To send emails to a big list of email contacts and to get analytics on all those campaigns, what you'll need to do is set up an account with an email service provider. And there are tons of options out there, but the one that I recommend and use is MailChimp. It works on any type of site. They've been around for ages, and they are also free to use up to 2,000 subscribers, which is always a great reason to use a product. So what you want to do is type in MailChimp into Google, go ahead and just click through, and then you can go ahead and sign up, and you can sign up with your personal account if it'll only be you using it, or you can sign up with your company email if you want as well. Now once inside, what you'll want to do is come up and click on lists, and then you want to create a list, and you can just go ahead and create a list. So by creating a list, we'll be able to send one email to everybody that's on our list. So we need to fill out some of the list details, like the list name. So they even help you walk through some of this here. A good example is just your domain name and newsletter. So I'll just put in example domain. Now here we want to put in the default from address, and this is the address that people will respond to. Now, this will need to be an email that you have access to, because you'll need to verify this in just a second. But it's best now to put in a domain-specific email that you will have set up. Next, select the default name and use something that instantly recognizes, like your company name. So I'll just say example domain. Now what we want to do is put in a short reminder about how they got this email, and you can just rewrite the example down here. You are receiving this email because you opted in on our site. This is just a requirement for anti-spam. Now down here as well, you're going to need to input some of your company information, so you can change this to your company name and address. Now you don't need to put in like the number, say your office, whatever, 10A. You can just put in the street address and the city name, etc. Again, this is just anti-spam measure. MailChimp are actually required to collect this information. So next you can just put in your country and your state and a phone number if you want as well. And then you can also select if you want to get notifications about daily subscribes, unsubscribes, etc. And then you want to go ahead and click save. So excellent, we now have created a brand new list. And one thing that we actually want to do right now before we start to import contacts or anything is actually to verify our email address. So what I'd recommend you do is go and type in verify email MailChimp. And what we need to do is just to show MailChimp that we own that domain that we've popped in. And so what you can see you have to do is come down into account. And it may actually even show up if we come into settings, list and names. And let's see, yep, it says it here. This is actually maybe the easier way to do it. So if you come into your list and then you come in to settings, list name and defaults, you're going to see that you have to verify your domain so that you can send emails and receive replies from this mail. So what we can do is go ahead and click verify domain here. We can just pop in our email address, get them to send a verification email. The verification is email on the way, so I just need to go and get that. So to do that, I'm just logging into my host and where I've set up my domain specific email. And now I can see this verification email from MailChimp. So I just need to get into this and verify the domain access. I can actually just take this code, copy this, paste that back in, and click verify. So now my domain has been successfully verified, so I can send emails with this email appearing and also receive emails back. So now that I've verified my email, what I might want to do is come back to my list again, and I now have the opportunity to start to import contacts into this email list if I want. So if you've already got some email addresses, maybe from LinkedIn, maybe from Gmail, maybe from other sources, you can just import those CSV files there. and you can just upload those. And what you can also do, which is sometimes handy, is you can just actually copy and paste email addresses in. So this is going to just give you a tab that you really just copy and paste them into. And once you've got that done, then you're going to have a list of emails that you can send an email directly out to. And again, the benefit of setting it up in MailChimp is that you can send them in bulk. You are not going to get caught in that spam filter, as opposed to if you're sending a bulk email from a personal address, they're going to recognize your brand name. And also you get all those cool analytics, like how many people opened the email, etc. So now that you know how to set up a MailChimp account for free, go ahead and set one up for yourself. Don't forget to verify that domain. And if you have any questions or problems with that, just check their support guides. And then you can go ahead and import those contacts so you're ready to start sending out email campaigns to your email list. In this video, you're going to learn how to add an email sign-up form to the sidebar of your website, and also how to add a pop-up form. I'll show you how to do this for free, and this will really help you in your goal to build up an email list and create a list of potential people that you can sell your products or service to. So the first step is to log into your MailChimp account and then click into the list that you want to create the sign-up forms for. Once inside, then you want to click on sign up forms, and it's in here that you're going to see a couple of different types of sign up forms to create. Now, for a sign up form in the sidebar of your website, you can click on embeddable forms, and it's in here then that you can change the look and feel of your sign up form. So for example, you can change the title that appears here. You can also show only the required fields, just the email. Or you can show all the fields. You give them the option to put in their first and last name. And you can make some other adjustments there if you want. And then once you're ready, you just need to copy and paste this code onto your website. So what we need to do is paste this code onto our website so that when somebody signs up on our website, the information and their email address will be sent back to MailChimp here, and they'll be added to our list. So you can just Control A, Control C, copy all of that. Now what I'm going to show you how to do is how to add this to a WordPress website, but essentially the process is going to be quite similar. And if you need a step-by-step guide for your type of website builder, just look at the support guides for your website builder. So what you'll need to do is come in to log into the back end of your WordPress website. So I'll just do this now. And then for a WordPress website, you can come down to Appearance and Widgets. Now the layout might be slightly different depending on the theme that you have for your WordPress website, but I'll just walk through the steps here. They're essentially going to be the same. And you want to really add a widget to your sidebar. So a widget is essentially just a little feature, and you can do that by adding a custom HTML. Then we want to copy that code, paste that into the custom HTML widget there, and click Save. And then what we can go ahead and do is just go open up our website, because we want to see if this is actually working. And there we go. There is our email sign up form in the sidebar of our website now. Now I will say sometimes it can take a couple of minutes for this to show up on your site. And sometimes what you may need to do is actually go ahead and delete your search history, so clear your cache, so that then these changes will be reflected. So now that we have got the email sign-up form in the sidebar of our website, let us go back and look at another type of email sign-up form you can include. So we're going to come back to our list. We'll just start the process again. And then we're going to come to sign-up forms. And then in here, we want to do a subscriber pop-up. So we want that pop-up. You've probably seen them everywhere. And so if we want to put something like this on our site, we could do that. Now actually you can change the image here and upload that. I've actually uploaded this previously. So you can upload an image, something similar to that. You can again change where this appears on the website, and it can give you a preview of that. It'll also give you a preview on mobile. Actually, if I was doing this properly, I'd adjust that image So there's a couple of good things to check before you go ahead. Now you can adjust the settings, like when does this pop-up show up. For the purposes of this demonstration, I'm just going to say immediately so that I can show you working, but you can time this after 5 seconds, after 20 seconds, when they scroll to the middle of the page, when they leave the page, etc. So you can adjust all of those things yourself, and there's a lot of cool things that you can change there, the font, the color, etc. So now I want to view the code, because again, we want to put this on our website so that any emails collected will be added to our list in MailChimp. So we need to copy this code, and again we need to put this on our website. Now this will be different depending on the type of website you have, maybe even the WordPress theme you have, but I'll show you how it's done with my one here. So what we want to do is come to theme options, and then I want to click, after I come into appearance, theme options, come to general settings, and it's in here now that I can actually place in header code. This theme is great because it gives me a specific section to do that. So I can just paste that in, and then I want to go and click Save Changes. Now again, we want to come back to our website to make sure that it's working. You might need to wait a couple of minutes. Go ahead and click Refresh the page. Sometimes your blog page or your home page can take quite a long time to reload. So sometimes it's easier to come into a sub page, and you may need to click around a bit, and I've done that. And now I've come into a blog post, and I can see this popping up immediately. So I know that is working, and I can maybe go ahead and just test that out. Put in my email, and I'm already subscribed to this list, but you can see that it will, you can go ahead. And then what you can do is you can go ahead, sign up, and then what a good thing to do is come back into your list on MailChimp to make sure that it has been signed up. Now, if you have any problems with any of the code or anything, go ahead and check out these support guides on MailChimp. They are excellent, and they have a lot of really walkthroughs that will help you. So it's best, if you have any problems, to really check out these support guides there. And they've also loaded support guides for different types of sites, etc. So to recap, in this lecture you've learned how to build your email list faster by adding a email sign-up form to the sidebar of your website, and also a pop-up form. So come in to MailChimp, get the code, and put it onto your website following the steps that you've learned in this video. In this video you're going to learn how to capture email addresses without needing a website. And I'll show you a perfect example of this. Here is a Twitter page. You can see that they say in their bio here that they're working with entrepreneurs to solve the world's hardest problems. Follow along through our weekly newsletter, and then we can see a link actually here to a standalone page where we can sign up to their email newsletter. Now you can see this is not going to their website. It's just a page where you can sign up to their email list. So this is an extremely handy way to connect or to collect email addresses even if you don't have a website. And so in order for you to set this up for yourself, you firstly want to log into your MailChimp account, and then click into the list that you've created. And you want to come down to sign up forms, and then you want to select general forms. Now it's in here that you can design your own standalone page like this. You can see here that they have edited the list name. So if you want to do that, you'd need to go back to the list and edit it there. But then in here, what you can also do is add or remove any fields. So let's say I didn't need to collect their phone number. I could remove that and then click delete, and that will be removed. Now what I can do is take this link and paste that in my Twitter profile, Facebook profile, really anywhere in content that I've created to encourage people to sign up to my email list. So it's a very handy feature of MailChimp, and it makes it incredibly easy to collect email addresses even if you haven't got a website set up. So go ahead and check it out for yourself. Once again, you want to come into your lists, then you want to come into sign up forms, and to do this you want to look at the general form, and you can edit it in there. In this video, you're going to learn how to create an email campaign with MailChimp so that you can promote your blog posts to your email list, so you can promote products, market surveys, etc. The process is all the same, and it's really, really simple to do. So what you want to do is log into your MailChimp account and then go ahead and click Create Campaign. Then we want to select Create an Email Campaign. And what you want to do then is put in the campaign name. Now, I always recommend that your campaign name be the same as the subject line that you're going to be using for the email. So I will just put in an example here, how to capture emails without a website. Then click Begin. And I'm going to, by default, this will show and send it to your entire list. And I recommend that you do that if you have a small list. If you have a very big list, you can start to segment it down if you want and send only this email to a certain segment of your audience. But for the most part, you'll probably be sending it to the entire list, and you can leave that selected and then click Next. Now in here, we want to fill out a little bit more of the campaign info. So as I said, I'd recommend that you use the campaign name, the same as the subject line. You can just edit those if you want. Next in, you want to add some preview text, and this snippet will appear in the inbox after the subject line. So what you might do is, if you've quite a long subject line, this probably won't even show in the inbox. But if you've got a very short email subject line, you can add this in. And again, you want to think about this in the same way as the subject line. Is this going to help people open the email? That's essentially what you want to do. So I can say, learn a really simple way to capture emails needing a website. So again, kind of encouraging people to see the benefits, and then I'll show them the how-to once they open the email. Now the from name, this is my kind of personal email list, so I'll just leave it as my name, but it could be the company name. You want to put in your from address as well. And down here, you can see that there's a number of tracking options. Probably the most important one that you want to enable is Google Analytics tracking. It'll walk you through the steps here to set that up. But if you haven't, what you can do is go ahead and click Save and Exit. And then you can come, say, to your dashboard in a new tab. You can come up to Account, Integrations, and then you can just connect with Google Analytics there. And the advantage of doing this and enabling this integration for this email campaign is that in your Google Analytics reports, in the campaign reports, you're going to be able to see how many people actually clicked through to your website from this specific email. And that is incredibly important to know. So you can check maybe the next day, okay, how many people actually ended up on my site because of this email. So that's really important to enable if you want to track that. Now, once you've got that done, you can click Next. And in here now, there are a ton of templates that you can select. There are some really fantastic professional looking ones. You can drop images in. You can do all sorts of stuff. For this example, you can just, I'm just going to use a simple text. And to be honest, this is the type of email that I send out most often as well. I think it just is a little bit more casual, seems a little bit more personable. So what you want to do is maybe adjust the first line in the email. And this can often be just the subject line again. And then what you can do is adjust the text as well. So I can say something like, click below to learn how to set up. So what I've said there is click below to learn how to set up a free landing page with MailChimp so you can collect emails without needing a website. Now what I want to do is make sure that I input the link, and what I can do is just actually paste a link in there if I wanted to. So I'll just say and what we really want to do now is just make sure that we actually put the link in there. So insert the link and insert that there. We can see that goes blue, so we're all good to go. Now down here below will actually be the information that you've put on your MailChimp account in terms of your physical address. Now this is required just for anti-spam measures, and that's why MailChimp has included it there. Also, you can see the option for people to unsubscribe, which is I think required, but it's definitely best practice because you don't want to annoy people. Make it easy for them to unsubscribe if they want. Now once you've got that done, you can click save and close. And what you can also do is actually input any of these buttons. For example, I could input a button there and change the text here and say something like learn more. And what I can also do then is just actually I can put in the link there as well. Maybe I'll do that because it just grabs the attention a little bit more. So save and close that. Now we'll just need to edit our text again, just remove that. And then what we want to do is click save and close. Now we can click next. And looks like we're all set to go now. We can see we've got the green ticks against all of the different parts. Now a very important thing that you want to do before you go ahead and send out any emails is just make sure that everything looks okay. So what I'd recommend you do is go ahead and send a test email, and you can just send that to your own personal account. And really you just want to look at this email from the perspective of somebody who's going to get it into their email account. So to do that, you want to log in to your email account. And then you might have to wait a couple of minutes for this to come through. And you can see it there. It says test here, but it's not going to say that in the real email. And how to capture emails without a website. So ask yourself, would I open that? Is that a good enough subject line? Should I maybe change it? You can see the snippet text here as well. Is that being cut off? Is there more important information that could move to the start of that? Again, really ask yourself, would you open this email? Because if you're saying, I don't know, or maybe not, well then maybe you can come back and work on this, because that's critical to people even clicking through to your website. So once you're happy with the subject line or have spotted something you can improve, you can open the email, check the spelling, maybe read it out loud a couple of times, make sure the information here is accurate, and most importantly, make sure this link is working. Now I just put in an example link there, but you want to make sure that it's going to the right page because that's one of the most important things. So if there are any things that you feel you could improve upon or need to edit, you can just come in and edit the different sections there. And then once you're happy, you can actually go ahead and schedule the email if you want. So when you're thinking about sending out your email, you want to think about, okay, who are your audience? If you have a global audience, you want to send it at a time that really hits the maximum amount of people. For example, I'm in Dublin, Ireland. Usually I send my emails about 5 o'clock in the afternoon. That's usually about 9 o'clock in San Francisco, about lunchtime in New York, and that allows me to cover the maximum amount of people that I can from my audience. You don't want to be sending your emails when everybody's in bed, etc. So if it's hard for you to manage the time, you can schedule it, or you can go ahead and click send now, and then you can just go ahead and click send to send that out. And that is really how you create an email campaign in MailChimp. It is a really important thing to do if you want to drive website traffic from your email list or drive sales. So it's a simple process. It's really the same for whatever objective that you have. And the most important thing, once again, that I would recommend is that you go ahead and send that test email every time. I guarantee you're going to spot a couple of things that you could improve upon or a couple of mistakes to edit before you click the final send button. In this video, you're going to learn how to write better email subject lines. And I want to show you a really cool trick that you can use right away to really find out how to write email subject lines that get opened. And that's the critical part. So what you should do is come into your own email account, and like I've done here, I have a folder full of all of the emails that I've signed up to. And what you want to do is look down through this list of emails. You can see a ton of these emails I haven't opened at all, but there are certain emails here that I have opened. And these are the ones that you really want to focus on. So if you've opened the emails, well then obviously that is a subject line that gets opened. And so you can just take these subject lines or model them and use them for yourself, and you're going to have a very good chance of those getting open. So essentially, you're looking at what is working and then you're just applying it to yourself. That's a lot easier than talking about the 10 things you need to do, because look, this is proven. And let's take an example of this now. 7 prediction trends for tech in 2018. Now, why did I open this? Well, number one, it starts with numbers, and that's a great way to spark curiosity, because I really want to know what are those 7 things. And they're also trends for tech in 2018. So if these are trends, well, maybe I can jump on them, maybe I can benefit from them. It just sparks a lot of curiosity, because I would like to maybe get ahead on these trends. It's for 2018. This was sent on the 6th of January, so it's quite timely. It's a well-timed email. And I want to open it because I want to know what the 7 trends are. So how could you use an email subject line like this for yourself? Well, you could do the 7 prediction trends for digital marketing in 2018, 7 prediction trends for yoga, whatever, personal finance, whatever your niche is, you can take a subject line like that and just apply it for yourself. Again, starting with the numbers is really a great thing for email subject lines, because it sparks that curiosity, and I want to open the email in order to find out. Now, this is absolutely critical. Email subject lines, look at all these emails here that I haven't opened. Now, for these email senders, they haven't gotten me to open the email, so they've no chance of me clicking through to their website or buying their product. So really, email subject line is something you should spend a lot of time thinking about, because if they don't open your email, then everything you've done after that is just wasted. So that's why coming in and to your own email, seeing what you've opened is just one of the best ways to see what works. And if you're working in a company, this can be a pretty cool way to just sit everybody down, do this exercise, say, hey guys, open your emails. Let me see the emails that you've opened, because I want to take some of those headlines and use them for ourselves. Here's another example. This is completely other side of the spectrum. There's no numbers in it, but again, it's from this guy, and he said, are you there, Dara? So I know that actually when I opened this email, that because I'd given my email in his email sign-up form, this is kind of an automated email. But I was like, oh, is this do I know this person? And he just said, are you there, Dara? So again, it's that kind of curiosity. He addressed me personally, and I opened that because I wanted to say, oh, is he addressing me personally? Or, and I had to open to find out. So again, I had to open the email to find out. And it's another way of sparking that curiosity, just having a very casual question. And the reason that he was able to address me by my name is I'd given my name in the email sign-up form. So that's a huge advantage of including that if you want to, that you can address people personally. Now let's have a look at some other stuff. Let's talk. Why didn't I open that? Okay, well, there's nothing specific about it. It doesn't spark my curiosity. There's no reason for me to open the email. I know who this company is, and I'm not sure that there's anything that I want to work with them on. So, as well as looking at the emails that you've opened, it's actually a great exercise, and probably even more beneficial, to look at the emails that you haven't opened. What did they do wrong? What could they have done better in order for you to open that email? So for this one, let's talk. Okay, well, talk about what and what benefit is going to be for me, etc. So if they had taken one of these other approaches, or I'm not sure how to do it, but definitely something as short as that with no benefit, with no curiosity, is not going to get me to open it. Let's keep on moving down. And let's have a look at some other ones. Here's a great one. LinkedIn experiment, increase your reach by 600%. So of course, how do you do this? How do you increase your reach by 600% on LinkedIn? I want to know how to do it. So I obviously opened the email to find out. And actually in that email, he explained how to do it in a YouTube video, which of course I clicked through. So that is a great example of an email there. There's a result, a benefit there. I want to know how to do that. And so obviously I open the email and then I click through. So great email. You could do that with anything. Instagram experiments, increase your reach by 600%. Yoga experiments, increase your flexibility by 600%. So again, just looking at the emails that you've opened is the best way to write email subject lines that get opened. Let's have a look at some other ones here. Okay, Udemy Live, set your goals. So setting goals at the start of a new year is always a tough thing to do. Any help with that can be good. So writing emails that really appeal to people at certain times of year is a good thing to do as well, depending on your business. So keep in mind always what the customer is trying to achieve at different times of the year. So let's have a look at some other ones here. Here's another example of an email I didn't open. Last call for $10 courses, 3 hours left. So it's a good offer, but I'm not sure what courses are they about? What is the benefit that they're going to help me to achieve? It doesn't really spark my curiosity, and so I didn't open that one there. Here's another one I didn't open. Grab any plugin or theme for just $19. So you can see it was cut off. He did address me personally, New Year 2000 offering. You can see that you really want to make sure the important stuff is at the start of the email. Maybe if it was grab any theme or plugin for just $19 and then it had a limited time frame, so like 3 days left, then that might have got me to open it up. Or if they said get these 10 WordPress plugins for just $19 each or something like that, well, maybe I've been like, okay, what are those 10? Because maybe I should get them while I have the chance and while the offer is there. So once again, the best way to write email subject lines that get opened is to come into your own email, look at the emails that you've opened. You can ask team members to have a look into their inboxes, and also look at those emails you haven't opened and really understand why, and avoid doing those things for yourself and continue to do what is obviously working and what you are opening. So hope you enjoy that tip. Go ahead and use it right now to write better email subject lines, or put it in your back pocket for later. In the last lecture, you learned how to create an email campaign, and in this lecture, we're going to complete the very important step to actually analyze the results of the campaign, because this is the key opportunity for you to analyze the data, learn from your successes or failures so that you can really get better as you go forward. So there's two places that we're going to look at the data. One here is in MailChimp, and you can see already, we can see the percentage number of opens and clicks. There's also a bigger report here we're going to look at. And then also in Google Analytics, if you come down to acquisition, campaigns, all campaigns, you can now see the information for the email campaign that we sent out. And remember that this is coming through because we have added Google Analytics to our MailChimp account. So that was why it was important to do that, so we can really see the number of people that came to the website from that email campaign, and also the number of people then who eventually signed up. But let's go back and start with MailChimp. So at a high level here in the campaign, we can see the percentage opens and clicks, but we can click through to the report to see a lot more detail. Now, if you have a professional or pro MailChimp account, you can set up kind of revenue goals, etc., and really see revenue driven, but I haven't done that, so we'll just be looking really at the information here. So you can get a sense of how good your open rate is by using these benchmarks here. So it says the industry average for education and training, which is the market I'm in, is a 13.8% open rate. So I'm well above that. Obviously I've got a much smaller list, but I think that's not too bad. So I think the key thing that gets people to open emails is the subject line. So at least now I have a benchmark going forward that I can get a sense of, you know, are my subject lines getting better? Are more people opening them? Or are people starting to trust me more and like me more? Or is that something I need to work on? Now we've got the click rate then. So that was actually the call to action. 5.6% versus 1.5% for an industry average. So that's probably a little lower than I would have liked. And so that's what I can really think about now. How can I make it more exciting for them to actually click on that button? Can I make it something, like they have to click now if they want to take advantage of whatever the offer might be? But thinking about how can I get more people to click, because that's ultimately what I want people to do. So it's good to see the numbers have a baseline there. Now looking across, I can see that there was one unsubscribe. So one person, when they got the email, decided to unsubscribe from the list. So that's only one person out of 71. That's not too bad at all. Happy enough with that. Now, if you want further explanation on all of these metrics, you can see then there's a little icon here that you can click around, and it'll help explain those more for you. You also can see a 24-hour performance. It's not quite been 24 hours. It's been about 12 hours since I sent out the email. So I would expect these numbers to bump up a little bit over the next few days, because not everybody opens the email on the minute it goes out. They can come back to it later. But interesting to see that about an hour after I sent the email, there was a spike. So maybe next time I will push my email campaigns to be in 1 hour later, and perhaps then that is a better time where I would get more opens. So there's some great information here in this report alone that can help you improve your next email campaign, for the subject lines, getting people to click that call to action, the time that you send it out, etc. And so as you do more and more campaigns, you want to keep coming back to this, learning from the data. Now, as well as the analytics here in MailChimp, you might want to come into your Google Analytics account under acquisition campaigns, all campaigns, and you will see the results here for the actual email campaigns. So I can see that there was 5 new users came to the site as a result of the email campaign, spending an average time of 3 minutes and 43 seconds on the site, which is pretty long. And then actually 2 people ended up signing up for the email list. So that was the main thing that I wanted people to do. So you can see that all the way from that number all the way back to the full the list of the email subscribers. It's a pretty small percentage, but essentially that is kind of the baseline that we're working with right now. And remember that there are a lot of steps in the process to get people to that point. And if you can tweak all of those steps in the process, and then you're going to get better results. As well as email being a source of traffic, we can use email and the figures we've got here now as a baseline to compare our other sources of traffic, whether it be social media, wherever. At least we have a great baseline now to compare them with. And so that is really, really useful to have. So that really wraps up this whole section on email marketing. This is a very important piece of it, understanding and analyzing the metrics. And that is how you're going to learn. If you're not quite happy with the results that you got, don't view that as a failure. View that really as an opportunity to learn.